come chill on the couch with us.
Welcome back to another Bitchin' for 2011. We've got our bitches here today. Let me introduce them. We've got Cameron Kippen on the far left.
Hello.
Chloe-Allyn.
Thanks, Fred.
Welcome back. Rob Nixon from
Fred?
Today Tonight. And of course we've got from the RSPCA and media presenter Natalie Foster.
Yes,
Thank you for coming in. This is your first one with us.
Yes,
I think most of the others
I've
aren't
got
virgins.
quite a bit of experience being a bitch.
Well, there you go. Hopefully it comes in handy for this one. We've got 4 great topics today, guys. We're going to start with Cameron Kippen. He's got an interesting one over there about political correctness. Cameron.
Yeah, recently on the new programme Can of Worms, that wonderful shrinking violet, John Elliott, made the unmentioned.
He made the A word about Aboriginals.
He certainly did, and he brought into contested the fact that we should, or when the owners, traditional owners of the land were actually thanked, he took great dissatisfaction in that. And of course, his remarks have really been taken in a situation whereby is this politically correct?
Yeah, because we were saying off air before, I was telling everybody, I remember when I was younger, maybe 15, 20 years ago, I'm an Italian person, I used to be called a wog, and I used to be called a ding, and Greeks used to be called grease balls. And I mean, we're not making fun of anyone here today, we're just making a discussion, which we're Australian, we're allowed to say what we feel, and we're not being derogative. What does the panel think about this political correctness? Do you think it's a good thing that we don't call people different names?
Look, name calling's never nice. I used to be called a man, and that was quite hurtful because I never was a man.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Why were you called a man?
Because I had an Adam's apple.
Oh, all right.
I didn't. You actually look like I'm being
I'm thinking,
serious.
where did it go?
I like how Fred just double checked.
I know. Look, did you see?
Look,
Look
for the
straight
credibility
at
of the show, I needed to make sure. If I was looking
Do you want me
too
to
low. So what happened to you? Did you used to get picked on?
No, I did. I used to get a few name calls and stuff, and I handled mine with violence.
But you're English, aren't you?
Violence?
Yes.
Did you ever get called a pom or a whinging
Yes.
pom? How did you feel?
I whinge about it. Look, it used to happen years ago. It's not right that it happens now. Anything derogatory, leave it at home. You know, leave it in your lounge room. We don't want to hear about it, and we don't particularly want to hear it on TV, national TV. I mean, this guy's got a severe case of foot and mouth.
Foot
If
and
he
mouth,
ever leaves Australia, customs will not let him in again. I'm
I
telling
reckon
you.
customs
That's
won't.
right.
They won't even check his passport. They'll let him leave.
Yeah, and don't come back. No, it's wrong. I don't think there's anybody here. I mean, it could be very wrong. I could be sitting next to somebody who thinks it's great, but it's wrong.
Okay, Rob, what do you think?
It is a derogatory term, and it isn't nice. But John Elliott's very old school, and he did say in the article that he did apologise.
He did apologise. He
straight
said
away.
sorry on the air as well.
And he said, look, you know, it's just, this was my time, that's what I used to say, that's how we were brought up. But it is different nowadays, and if he's going to be in the media, which he is a lot, he's got to learn not to do that sort of stuff.
Yes.
Yeah.
What about you, Chloe?
Yeah, I think it's wrong. I mean...
You're one of our young people because you're
Yeah.
only 21. What do you think about this sort of
Oh,
stuff?
I don't think it's right. I mean, I know I've got a lot of my family is from England, and I always call them poms or anything like that, and I know they hate it so much. But I mean, you know, I think there's something wrong with that one. You know, English poms, you know, but I mean, dings and wogs and all that. No,
Not needed
But
anymore.
what about the Irish jokes?
Oh, yeah.
Where do
They
we
need
sit
to
with
go.
that?
And there's a lot
Some
of
of them are really
racist
funny.
jokes.
Very
They are
racist.
funny. I think there's a line, Natalie. I think there's a line that
If
we've...
it's funny, we can do it.
Political correctness has certainly been blamed for a lot of humour being taken out of situations where you can't make comments like we used to do. And I think to wrap up this discussion about the wording and all this sort of thing, I think Channel 10 had an opportunity to actually edit the program because the show was actually recorded. They made the choice to leave that comment in, so they did it to incite people. They did it for whatever reason to make ratings, and I think in future, really, television shows should be a bit more responsible, and actually they could have edited that out and you would never have seen it.
Yeah, good point.
Chloe, what have you got?
Well, my topic is that online is the new way to find love.
Is this
Okay.
Facebook and Twitter?
Yeah, Facebook and, you know, all those dating sites
Okay.
and all that. It also says that lots of people are very lonely. That's why they're doing it. So it's become a very popular thing to go online to find love. I mean, I've got a lot of friends who have found a lot of partners online.
Do you look online? Have you
No.
found boyfriends online?
No,
or
no,
girlfriends?
I personally,
I mean, there's our emails, of course.
Oh yeah, we'll keep that in the down. But personally, I don't think online's the way to go.
So
for
why
me.
is that? Why is it happening, Chloe? Why are people going on? Is that because you say they're lonely?
Well, that's what it's saying here, but I think people who go online to find love is because they're shy people anyway. They don't know how to talk to people, walk up to someone in a bar and say, how you going?
But
What's
that's
your
because
number?
they're behind their computer screens and their iPhones. Put them down, people. Go to the pub, meet people, and you won't be as lonely.
Yeah.
I actually agree with you, Natalie. I think there's a lot more people now on these Twitters, on Facebook, on Yahoo, whatever it is. They communicate on that, and they're too frightened to go out. And a lot of our kids now are sitting behind computers. They go home from school, they sit on a computer, they talk to their friends, and they talk as if they've known them for years, and the people they've only talked to on the computer.
Sure. And yet part of the same survey, I think, says 60% of them were actively involved in having sex now. Sincerely, they weren't when they were on the
I knew you'd bring that up. And he knows his stuff.
So there must be, and again, it depends what kind of sex.
Do they have their shoes on while they're having
Well, one
sex?
would have to think. But obviously there is connection, as it were, in the nicest possible way, but there is this element of loneliness, which is a worry.
But also honesty. I mean, if you go onto my profile, you'll see there that I'm 25. Formerly a man, 25, athletic and a natural blonde. Now, I'm not athletic. And
Compared to me, you are.
I know. People look at me and they go, you know, are you training for 2012 London Olympics? I know. People think that all the time.
Maybe 2016.
Yeah, possibly. Or the geriatric one,
you
maybe.
were talking about people online. And that. When I used to talk to people online, I used to go on a thing called Merc. This is like 20 years ago. And used to chat to people, and I used to always give them photos of models, male models. And people would say, are you sure you're Ben Affleck or someone like that? Or are you sure you're Brad Pitt? And I was like, yeah, that's me. And the minute you sent them your real photo, they would disconnect or block you because they saw you were fat.
Why.
No.
I couldn't imagine either.
That was when he was on his Commodore 64.
Rob, wrap this one up, Rob.
I think it's okay for some people to do. Some people will probably be shy, and it's a good way for them to sort of break the ice in a relationship. So it's got its place.
Have you ever done it, Rob?
No, I have not at all. I spend a lot of time online, but no.
Because you must get a lot of people with your websites and all the Google stuff. Do you get ladies attracted to men, maybe?
Especially from the Philippines, but I think they're just trying to get in the country. But
you give you a good time. Not a long time, but good time.
A few of the lady boys.
Really? So how do you deal with it? Do you think it's a big part of life now that we're starting to become more reliant on online chat and all this sort of thing, and we should go back to reality?
Well, a lot of people have grown up with it these days, so they're just used to doing that now. But
I reckon ban Facebook, ban Twitter, and get people to get out of the house and go back to meeting real people. What do you reckon?
Yeah, sorry, I'm just doing Facebook.
Natalie, what's your topic? You've got one that leads on to
Mine is actually...
You're blagging already.
I'm twittering. Sounds rude. On the back of Chloe's one, there's another survey that now says that if you earn a lot of money, over 80 grand a year, you're probably going to be having more sex. Duh. Really? Do we really need somebody to do a survey?
Can I ask, is that because we get more money you can pay people? Is that what it is?
Well, look, find love where you can, wherever you can find love, get it. And if it costs you, so be it, as long as no one's getting hurt. But these people, obviously, if you've got more money, the bunnies are not going after Hugh Hefner for the bunny suit. You know what I'm saying? And it's not, I don't think it's for the looks, ladies and gentlemen. I think it might be what's in the wallet.
Do you reckon there's anything in that where you're an executive, you're getting paid a lot of money, it attracts more women too?
Oh,
Are women attracted by money?
I think so. Yeah. Let's be honest. Yes.
Do you reckon men are, Rob? Do you reckon men would be attracted by a woman with a very attractive salary? Or do you reckon
probably after,
After what?
Well, after they have a look at the woman.
But
I think people that are sort of pretty comfortable with money are usually or generally happier.
Yep.
So, and I think happy people like to make babies and things like that.
But the thing is too, if you're on a good money, right? You probably may have a housekeeper, you may have somebody looking after the kids, you've got time and energy for nit wiggy, haven't you?
Yep.
Otherwise, if you're running around after the kids and you're cooking and you've got a job, and you've got 2 jobs, the last thing you want to do, you want to sleep when you go to bed. Believe you me, the last thing on your mind is
sex. Although the thing is, I like to...
It's always on your mind.
I love
going into... You actually agree with that?
But the thing is, I love to go to hotels and stay in hotels, particularly the bigger ones, the better, because the thing is, technically you can come out in the morning and say, I've slept with 650 women. I mean, they've all been in different rooms at the time I was sleeping.
Okay.
But
and they weren't aware that you were there.
The other thing I love about the surveys is sex is on the increase for over 70s. Unfortunately, Ted Bull can't be with us today, and that's the reason why. The thing is, I can't wait till I'm 70, because you see, the 60k mark is apparently a ceiling. If you earn less than 60, you don't have sex. Now, most old folks don't necessarily have that kind of cash coming in, but the idea they can warm themselves up save electricity bills and gas, buy bonking, go for it.
Great
Chloe, do you want to wrap
idea.
this one up? Chloe, what do you think from a young person? Would you go for a guy who has a huge pay packet?
Yeah, nice car. Yeah, that's
Huge
always
package.
good. Yeah, I think so.
Fred.
Yeah, but I mean also,
Oh, please, enough about me, Natalie.
obviously looks are important too. So the whole package would be great.
I have a very big package of pizzas right behind you.
I was going to say something else. I'm glad
Have you got the last? This
Next
is my
topic.
favourite one, Rob.
Yeah, from sex to politics. Good segue. Tony Windsor has pledged his support for Julia Gillard. How unusual.
I saw that. He actually came out. He is a national that converted to
Ex-national,
being
yeah.
an independent
Yeah, yeah.
after the election. He supported this government so they could stay into power. Now, what happened was with the new carbon tax that came out, or the carbon tax policy that the Prime Minister released a couple of weeks ago, he came out. There's a lot of trouble for the Prime Minister. The polls aren't good. The public don't like her.
Yep.
There's so much going against her with this carbon tax.
Yep.
And what happened is Tony Windsor was asked if he would support her in a vote of no confidence, and he said he will support her. But the interesting thing was, Rob, that I heard that he said he doesn't believe they're going to win the next election.
He believes that Labor will lose the next
badly.
election. But what I find really interesting about this article is that he is in London,
Yep.
where he's on a fact-finding mission for climate change, but he's already backed the policy.
Before he even knows what
Now he's on a fact-finding mission,
Well,
so
what
I
do you
just
all
find that
think of
incredible.
him? What do we all think? Rob, you first. What do you think of Tony Windsor's position?
Oh, look, I think he's a typical sort of independent, I suppose. He's an ex-major party politician who's got a chip on his shoulder.
The
and he's-
rumour is that someone in the backbench have said to the Prime Minister, you've got 6 months to improve your position. If you don't, we're going to oust you. Now, the thing that the independents have said is if you oust her as Prime Minister, we won't support the government, which means we'll go to an election.
Yeah.
But the thing is, they don't want to go to an election because if they go to an election, the 4 independents would not be voted back in.
No, probably not.
Look, at the end of the day, we need to do something about the climate change.
Yes.
Because,
Yeah.
as you know, Tony Abbott, he already runs around in budgie smugglers, right? If it gets any hotter, the man's going to do naked politics. He's going to be absolutely full Monty.
Do you think
doing
the tax
press
is the way to go?
conference.
But let's be honest. Do we think carbon tax? A lot of
Taxes
the
are
experts,
never going to be popular,
But
Fred.
the experts have
Let's be
said,
honest.
Nat, that the carbon tax will not reduce any carbon emissions. All it's going to do is make the big companies, these big 500 companies, pay for the fine or pay for the tax and then pass on the increases to us.
Yeah, and we
and
pay
that's what Tony Abbott's
Emissions-
sort of saying. You would be better off putting the money from the taxpayer straight into improving the way they operate as a company and not putting it on everybody else individually. Like you could imagine a big company producing a cool drink, right? They're going to be paying this carbon tax. Then they add $1 to the cool drink. We then go out and buy that cool drink. It's suddenly $3 instead of $2. Where is that reducing emissions?
Well,
It's not.
It's not, but the thing is, if you say to somebody, you've got to start giving me extra money, there's going to be a tax. No one's going to be happy about that.
Do you think they're not going to just pass that on in price increases?
Probably very
Yeah.
much. They
I
will.
believe, I agree with what
We
you're
need
saying.
to do something
but
about
we need
it.
to find a better way
also,
of
I
doing
think
it.
it's a very complex argument. Although when I read this, the headline that was that Windsor pledges his support for Gillard, I thought it was his surgical
Gillard, not the
support.
gun.
Yes, but I thought it was his surgical support he was actually giving her, but it doesn't seem to be that way. I would imagine, and as we've discussed before, the carbon thing is a very complex issue. I think whether we like it or not, folks, we're going to get it, come what
yeah.
may.
Yep.
And I think you would see the opposition's opposition to it change like overnight when it actually comes to
All right.
pass.
Absolutely.
And just quickly, Chloe, because we've been wind up, what do you think?
Well, I think the tax is going to happen and no one's going to be happy about it anyway. So just whatever happens, it's just, you know.
And a lot of young people are saying that they don't really get into it.
No.
Carbon tax, carbon emissions, very important issue. Hopefully they'll tackle it with the importance that's needed. Thank you very much to Natalie Foster for the first time on Bitchin. Thank you to Rob
Thank you, Fred.
from Today Tonight. Rob, of course, cooking up a storm for us here on the couch. Chloe-Allyn, one of our great presenters on the couch, and Cameron Kipper, another presenter on the couch. Thanks very much. That is Bitchin for another week. We'll be back with more of the couch right after this.